Hi, I'm kind of excited to make this again with you. I always do one before I show you how to do it so that I make sure I have all the little details down to help you do these. But the last thing we made was the shadow window box, and I had made this one first and then I made this one with you. So this is the one that I made to go in here. I'm using Cottage Life from Graphic 45 papers, and please feel free to do whatever you like. And it's just it's a really cute little gift or just something to put on your own shelf and enjoy. This is a little bit of work just like this. You guys did it. You're just really great. So I want you to know this is a little bit of work, and I'm going to show this to you before I show you the things that we need so that you kind of have an idea how much work is involved. Now, I'm going to work with you to make the book and then show you a few little extras in here. So this is the first page, and you flip it, and there's all kinds of fun little things in here. But you just keep flipping. It's called an accordion book, and you can see there's all kind of fun little things you can do. And I will show you this later so that you can kind of have an idea. When we're ready to decorate, I'll give you some ideas. But it just keeps flipping until you get to the back page. Then, ta-da, it keeps flipping. It is just the cutest little thing. Whoever came up with these accordion books, I think they're brilliant. Okay, so we are going to make this. I'll set that aside. I have some measurements for us, but I want you to kind of get a few things ready. And if you've been working with me and you have saved a lot of your scraps, these scraps will come in very handy. You can probably cut, like these are, oh, let's see, they're probably about 18, they're 11 inches long. So if you have some, cut them in half. You don't need them quite that long. And I will show you how I've made my little jigs to work with this, this book. So I have several jigs, and some of them I work with other projects, but the one that I need with this one is, it is a wider jig. And I've taken 3 pieces of medium weight chipboard scraps, and I've glued them together, one on top of the other, and I'm going to do that with you just to kind of show you what we're doing. And then I have bound it with just a piece of scrap decorative paper so that it kind of stays together. And then I wrote a little note to myself, sorry, I said this is 3 chipboards, and it's a 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit over. I put a plus there just to tell myself that it's just a little over 1/8 of an inch. Now let me show you the other ones I've made. This is 2 pieces of chipboard put together, and it's just a shade, a fraction, a hair under 1/8 of an inch. And then I also have just one piece of chipboard, because different times we will use these to space, and you've seen how we did it when we made our box. When we were putting our sides on this, you can use these, the single one I use for doing something like this. So let's go ahead and put these aside for now, and I'm going to show you how to make our jigs. And you'll keep these. I just keep them in a little area over here for myself. And if you have several of these, they're not even 1 inch, I don't think. They're like mine are 1/2 inch, and that's perfect. You don't have to have them great big and wide. You just have to have enough that you're able to go ahead and glue these together. And I think I might be able to get 2 out of this, not quite. Okay, so I'm going to measure, and I have, let me move this up just a little bit. I'll put it at the 10, so I have 11. I want to do 5.5 inches, which is right there. And it's not going to be perfect because, like I said, this is a jig. It's not a project. It's just a jig to give me an idea. And if you've ever worked with a carpenter, or they'll talk to you about jigs, and jigs make their life so much easier, especially like when they're doing cabinets in a kitchen. They will have a jig to drill the holes in to make your knobs for your drawers and your doors. They have jig, and what that does is it keeps all of your sizings just about perfect. Okay, now I have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to need that, and then I have 1, 2, and then we have 1. So you are welcome to go ahead. I have a little white pen somewhere, and I will mark on this 1. When I put this together, I'll mark on here 2. When I get this together, I'll mark on here 3. So let's go ahead and get our glue. And I'm going to put that in my shirt. Otherwise, I'll lose it. Okay, let's work with the one that's 2. And all these little flakies, I'm just pushing on the floor. My husband's out. Oh, God, love him. You girls would love this man. He does my vacuuming for me. I have asthma and the dust in the rugs. We don't have a whole lot of rugs. We put some hardwood floor down, but a couple of our bedrooms have rugs, and so he vacuums for me. I am really nice to that boy because he is so good to me. I tell his mother all the time what a wonderful job she did raising that man. He is just such a fabulous guy for me. He might not get along with everybody else, but he gets along just fine with me. So I went ahead and glued that. I'm laying it flat so that one end is very perfect. So this edge is just as perfect as I can get it. Now, y'all know me, I save a lot of my scraps. And I don't think I have anything in here that's going to work. And I want something pretty. It doesn't have to be fancy, but I want it to be a little bit pretty. So I'm going to try this one. I have such a mess in my craft room, girls. I've been trying to get ready for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's just kind of gotten messy in here because I haven't taken the time to clean up. How many of you do that? It's okay. It's my creative space. So it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and see. Oh, this will be perfect. This will be just perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put glue just a little bit on the bottom of this. And then I'm going to go ahead and I might just put one of the straight edges here. And I'm going to walk that across. Push it down really well with my bone folder. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Like I said, this does not have to be perfect. This is a tool. This is not, oh, and you know what? I glued it on the wrong edge. Yeah, I glued it on the wrong edge. So I'm going to do it again. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and glue this on. You want to make sure that your straight edge, the bottom straight edge, is where you put your excess. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this up here like this because I'll still have enough. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and push this down. Boy, I was lucky to get that up. It didn't come up nice and neatly, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, this is a tool. It's not a gift. It's nothing that I'm giving away. So once you've gotten the one side glued in, and I don't know if you can see, this is my rough edge. I didn't want to overlap this edge over here because I want it to be on the straight edge. Okay, so once you've gotten this all glued on one side, then I use my table to kind of push this and then push it again, so that what you're going to have is you're going to have a very flat edge across the bottom. And that's the edge that you'll want to use when you're using this as a jig. So what I do, since I've already gotten this folded, I'm going to put my glue down here, and I'm going to glue the rest of this paper, and I'm going to do it again just to make sure that I get everything square and sharp. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. That's the only thing that I care about. I don't care about all these messy places, but I do care that this is nice and crisp and sharp. You can take your bone folder across it, and there you have that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pen, and I'm going to mark 2. That tells me there are 2 of these chipboards. And I'm going to put on the other side 1/8 and then my inch, and then I'm going to put a minus because this is just a hair smaller than 1/8 of an inch. I have measured these, and so when you go ahead and measure it, you're going to see it falls on the other side of my 1/8 inch line. So there's 1 or 2, that's the number 2. This is just 1, and you don't have to do anything because you'll remember it's just 1. And then we're going to put the 3 together. So the first thing we do, again, is we're going to put glue on the entire piece. We want one edge to be very, very straight. And so I use my table to make sure that the bottom is very straight. And I'm using my hand to kind of push that together. You can go ahead and burnish it. Now, if you're OCD, like sometimes I am, it depends on what I'm doing, you can go ahead and make these exactly even. It's not a big deal. You can see this one that I made before, it's 2 of them are even, and then I have a smaller one on the bottom. This is not the big deal. Now, I want to remember that this is my flat edge because I'm going to go ahead and put glue on this one. And I want to keep all 3 of my edges flat that I'm gluing together. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm trying to get the sides, but the sides aren't even that important either. It's just this bottom edge that you want to make sure is very, very straight. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. So I'm going to find a different piece of paper. And I think I'll use this. Let's see. Yeah, and this is going to be a little bit too big, so I'm going to go ahead and cut just a little bit of it off this way. And it's still just a little bit too big, but I'm going to glue one end before I start cutting anymore. So I want to go ahead, I'm not going to put glue on the whole thing. It doesn't have to be entire. You can if you like. If you like your jigs all perfectly glued, that's fine. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and lay it on here as best I can. Get it pretty straight. Like I said, it's just a jig. It's not rocket science, girls. Okay, so we got that side done, and we have it burnished. I will take my scissors, and I'm going to cut to make it that way. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to use my table as my flat edge, and you can see how much overage I have. So I am going to go ahead and draw a line, and then I'm going to just cut under that line somewhere. And you can see I haven't been perfect about this. I'm not terribly excited. I'm going to fold it again to see. Yeah, I might take just a little bit more off, girls. There we go. And, oh, that's perfect. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and put it on the paper this time. And again, we want to use our table. We're going to push it against there, and then we're going to push it against there to make sure that we get a nice, sharp, crisp edge up here. And I'm going to burnish and burnish. I'm going to put 3 on this side, and I'm going to put this as a little over 1 1/8 of an inch. And I'm going to put a plus on this side. So you can see one of them has 1/8 minus, 1/8 plus. And I don't know if you can see this. We'll try. If I put this, you can see that this is just past my 1/8 inch line. It doesn't fall exactly in the middle of it. It goes past it. It's not clear to the quarter, and it's probably not even 2/16. It's just a very, very small piece over 1/8. So this is something I would like you to think about keeping as a tool. Put it in your little toolbox wherever you keep your tools. And next time we are going to use the bigger one, the 3, to help us make this accordion album. Oh, I'm really excited to do this with you. I hope you've enjoyed this. This is just a way for you to keep tools. There are places you can buy these. They're metal and they're a little bit more expensive, but you know what? If you have leftover chipboard, this is a good way to use up some of your leftover chip. Like these 1/2 inches, I would never use in a project. They wouldn't fit, but they work really great to make jigs. And there are other jigs that we will probably be able to make through our experience together with each other. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you learned to appreciate some of the pretty little cute little tools that we make together. Thanks for joining me. I will see you next time when we start this. Bye-bye.